I received a message on the Justice for Nichole page yesterday, and there was some information in this message, and mostly because Essie Breech is out of prison again and roaming the streets of Scioto County, I feel like I need to clear up some of the rumors that have been going around. I need to make sure that people are not confused about some of the things that are going on. So I received this message, and one of the issues was that people are saying that either Essie Breech, she filed a court case against me, or she threatened me with a court case, or she threatened to sue me with libel or slander. That is not true. What has happened is just that we don't really have any new information, and so I don't know what other videos I can make. So Essie Breech has not scared me into submission. She has not silenced me. It's just that there's no new information coming out. And on top of that, the last 4 years for me personally have been really bad. My ex had this kind of drug-fueled mental breakdown, and he wound up in jail for domestic violence. Not violent domestic violence, but he stole all our money and pretty much left us homeless. And he even got me put in jail for a couple days because I was afraid to comply with the visitation. So he got me put in jail for 2 days. So it's been really, really, really bad these last couple years. And I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just saying that it was hard to focus on really anything except getting myself back on track. So definitely back on track. And now Essie is out of prison, and I have very, very strong concerns about her being out of prison. One other thing I want to just mention is, for anybody who thinks that I have not talked to, somebody, right when I found out, we called the family first, and then I called the FBI, and it was either the Columbus or the Cleveland office, I can't remember exactly, and I called them, and I talked to a woman on the phone for 45 minutes about Nichole, and she was like, well, call back because this person's going to be here, and they'll probably be able to help you. And I called back, and they told me that there was nothing that they could do because it wasn't a federal matter. So I talked to the FBI. I've contacted the Attorney General's office of Ohio. I have talked to, I don't even know how many news organizations. Dr. Phil actually wanted to get this story on the Dr. Phil show, but apparently Essie has to agree to be on the show to do it, and so Essie of course didn't agree to do it because she killed Nichole, and so that didn't pan out. So we had Nancy Grace, Dr. Phil. The family contacted America's Most Wanted when Nichole was still missing, when her body still had not been found. And I just want to quick interject here that my friend did not find out about Nichole's murder. We thought, or she thought, that it was an overdose case. And so, for like a year and a half, we thought that Nichole had just overdosed with Richie Howard on her farm. We didn't know it was a murder. And she found out in the end of 2010. So a year and a half later. So the family had been doing all the work. So they got all of the information about Steve Timberlake and the homeless shelter and Jason Kraft, and which they knew about because Nichole had been arrested at that same time. And they found out all that information. So we didn't call America's Most Wanted because the family had contacted America's Most Wanted, and apparently, and I did verify this, Scioto County turned down their help. They said they didn't want their help. So contacted them. I think I contacted almost every county sheriff's department in Ohio. I've contacted city police departments. I contacted, I think, internal affairs in one city. I mean, I didn't know who to contact because everyone was ignoring me. I even went here in Colorado Springs. I talked to the sheriff's department, the CSI. They were like, we don't want it. We don't know what to do with it. I talked to a detective on the Colorado Springs Police Department. He didn't want anything to do with it, you know, because you don't want to offend other police departments. No comment on that one. And one of the most notable instances was when I contacted Nightline, and I had this whole like long narrative written out. It's like 20 or 30 pages. It's this whole long thing. And I sent that and a whole bunch of photos, like, of, like, blood splatter, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was, like, that thick. And I sent it to Nightline, and Nightline got it, like, 2 days later because they contacted the Scioto County Sheriff's Department. And I know that they got it, and I know that this happened because I didn't tell my friend they sent it. And the Sheriff's Department, they detained my friend. And they didn't want to know anything about Nichole Alloway. They wanted to know about me and why I was talking to the press. That's all they cared about. And, you know, all the people I've talked to, I think the one thing that made it just so clear that no one was going to do anything because nobody cares. I called one of the TV stations. I mean, I don't think it's in Portsmouth. It was like maybe one of the ones in West Virginia or Kentucky. And I was like, you know, this thing happened and the police are probably involved. And they told me that they could not get involved investigating the police department unless the police department was like actively part of the investigation. So, you know, what the hell is the press for then? Like, what are they doing? Unless they're investigating the government, then they're just another arm of the government. They're just another part of the government. So, but that was pretty much like the vibe that I got from everybody, is nobody wanted to get involved in this. Nobody wanted to help. I mean, I've contacted everyone I can think of. When Essie was in jail in Brown County, I wrote them, like, I don't know how many messages. So, and I've sent her letters, making sure, you know, in prison, I made sure to detail everything that she did so the people, because I know people read these letters. So, and I also told the administration at these prisons what happened. And I know they read those letters, so people had to know what was going on, and still nothing. Nobody does anything. So now Essie's out. She must be on parole, but I don't know for certain, and she's doing drugs, and she's taking advantage of more people, more young women. If you meet Essie Breech, do not let her live with you. She has hepatitis, so don't do drugs with her. Don't do anything where you would have to exchange bodily fluids because she'll make you really sick. Okay, really, really sick. She probably has more than just hepatitis, but that's the only one that I'm positive about, but it's, you know, serious, right? One of the reasons I want to come forward right now and clear up these things, first of all, you know, Essie, don't sit here and say I'm afraid of you, because when I went to your trailer that day, and I honked my horn when I was out there in the street, Chris came out, but you didn't come out, and I know that you scrambled like a greased up pig through the back window of your trailer, and you hid in the forest, practically naked, hiding in the forest from me, okay? So don't sit here and say that I'm like really afraid of you, okay? Because I'm not. I am afraid for the women that you're taking advantage of. And for God's sake, do not, under any circumstances, get a life insurance policy with Essie Breach. And for God's sake, do not make her the beneficiary. I am begging you. Don't do drugs with her. Don't let her live in your house. She is a murderer, okay? And I read an article a while ago from some stupid woman, and she was like, oh yeah, that justice for Nichole. She just watches CSI and Law and Order, and that's why she thinks that Essie killed Nichole Alloway. That's why she thinks. Like, she probably doesn't know anything. Well, you know, I actually do want to see Essie Breach and Chris Breach brought to justice one day. So I can't just sit here and tell you everything I know, can I? But I'll tell you one thing, and this is for Essie Breach too. We don't have just one witness. We have 2 witnesses that have come to us. And that doesn't mean there aren't more. We have 2 eyewitnesses that watched you do that, Essie. They watched you murder her. They watched you and Chris. Okay? We know everything. Okay? If you think that we've been, talking out our asses, nope. We know what happened that day. Okay? And I don't know why you have not been brought down, except you must have information that Mike Moran is afraid you're going to go to jail for, and start talking, and Steve Timberlake and those judges and Steve Kuhn, all of those dirty, dirty bastards. And oh my God, I was kicking myself for not knowing when the election for sheriff was. Okay, I just like kicking myself because I made those videos and I was like, oh, I'm going to get him. And they have that election, like when they know that people aren't really going to go and vote, like they're not going to get out in the spring, right? Like that's not when people go to vote. But the hardcore people are, and they're going to vote for fucking Dirty Domini, right? They're going to vote for him. Personally, I don't know how you guys put up with him completely like scamming the county, being retired sheriff and current sheriff at the same time, and his thought process behind this, his reasoning behind this was that he didn't want his wife, who has the bulletproof hair and probably needs to spend like $50 a week on Aquanet, right? He didn't want his poor little snookums to go without health insurance. So you scam a whole bunch of people so that she can have health insurance? What about the people who have to go without? Essie, I'm not going to threaten you. I don't have to threaten you. See, all of the people who you victimized, they're older now, and not old like you. See, they're in their prime, and they don't have to be afraid of you anymore. All of those people that you threatened, the ones that you said you were going to kill their kids, all those kids, they're older now, and they don't have to be afraid of you. They can come forward. So again, I didn't back out because I was afraid of Essie. I'm not going to lie, I am careful when it comes to the police and Mike Moran, and I'm sorry, it should have been Mark Kuhn, not Steve Kuhn earlier, and it's not C-O-O-N, it's K-U-H-N, in case you want to look up this person. We just hit a wall. I don't know if you have more information, feel free to share it. I haven't forgotten about Nichole. I think about her pretty much every day. I still think, I look at my own daughters, and I'm not going to lie, like the things that happened to Nichole have affected like how I give advice to my own daughters who are now Nichole's age. Like, I'm really scared for them a lot of the time. It's a reality, unfortunately, that we had to experience. We know all the grisly details, and they're grisly details. And it's scary to know that this can happen, and then there's no justice. There's no justice. And I'm not doing this for money, and I'm not doing it for fame. I mean, I don't even have any fame from this, and I certainly haven't made any money. I haven't made any money off of this. So, you know, I feel like I just want to see closure. I feel like it has to be done, you know, it's for the greater good. So I can't convince you that I have altruistic motives. I can't convince you of that, but all I can say is that is why. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do, to keep fighting for what's right and to see some justice done. And just on a final note, I am never going to let this rest, Essie, ever. It's never going to go away. And I know you know better than to mess with you know who. I know you know better. I know you do. So at this point, I know that my friend doesn't have to be afraid of you anymore, but I still do have to be careful when I'm challenging, you know, that government and Mike Moran. But now I'm going to say his name, Mike Moran, because he was in that special, in that Missing Women of Ohio, and those girls that were with him he's probably whoring them out just like he used to whore out Essie Breech. Because that's how Essie knows him, because he was her pimp, and she'd probably do anything for him to keep him from killing her and to get drugs and money from him. If he's able to do that now, because they scared his stupid fat ass on down to Florida. So if you have any information, share it. I would love to see this come to some closure. It won't be an end. Never be an end for the family. It will always be this horrible loss and this emptiness in their life. But, you know, just seeing Essie Breech getting that lethal injection would just feel so good. It really would feel so good. So, but God, don't do anything to her, because if she goes, all the information that she has about all those bastards out there goes with her. So, don't touch her. Just hopefully there's a reason for this. You know, they say everything happens for a reason. I don't even know what the reason could be. Like, it seems wrong to me, and it seems like there's no justice, and it seems, you know, like all the kindness and goodness has gone out of the world. I don't know, there's a reason for it. I don't know. We can say that, hope for it. So, yeah. So, let's just keep at it. And again, stay away from Essie Breech. She's no good. She murdered Nichole Alloway with her husband. There's no doubt. There's no doubt at all. This isn't me guessing. I'm 100% sure. She murdered her. She got her hooked on drugs. She gave her drugs that she would never normally have taken. Nichole did smoke pot before, I guess. I've read in places that she did smoke pot, but she wasn't into hard drugs. She just wanted to build a new life. And if you're living with Essie, she could murder you. You know, she took Nichole to someone's house, I think, to repay a debt, and she used Nichole, the guy that she took her to. He raped Nichole, and I'm not going to say his name because he actually is a scary person. So, she took him there, she took Nichole there, and he raped her. And I think it was repayment of a debt. So she basically had Nichole repay the debt for her. It's fucked up, right? So, she could absolutely, she would have no qualms, no hesitation selling you into trafficking too. She would absolutely take you to trafficking, especially if you're young, 26, super cute. She'll take you somewhere where they will kidnap you and traffic you, and no one will ever see you again. So just stay away from her, okay? Please. stay away from her. She doesn't deserve anything in this world. She deserves nothing besides a legal execution. So, yeah. All right. So just know I haven't forgotten. I'm not scared of most of these people. Some of these people are genuinely scary. And if I hear anything new, I'll let you know. But otherwise, just stay away from Essie. She's bad news. Bad news. Okay. Thanks, and stay safe out there.